What a roller coaster we have just survived. The Indian captain had asked the English to grow some balls, and boy, they exactly showed how much they had. They piled up a mammoth of 669 runs in the first innings. And what haven't we seen in this match? Pant limping, but still putting up a show of bravery. Ben Stokes turning into a beast, grabbing a fifer and nearly smashing a 150. Joe Root crossing Ponting and Kallis, itching closer to the god of cricket himself. Gill and Rahul batting hard for a couple of sessions after that early Jaiswal Sudarshan collapse. And on day 5, we even had a bit of spice, some chirps, a handshake turned down by Jadeja and Washington. We'll cover all of it here and look ahead for what's ahead in the big finale at the Oval. In the first innings, Rahul and Jaiswal gave us a solid start, an entire first session without a wicket. But then when the second session hit, suddenly we lost Rahul, Jaiswal, Gill. Pant had looked settled, but out of nowhere, he tried to reverse sweep a pacer. Chris Wokes out of all people, and then he ended up fracturing his foot. And now he's out of the next test. Sai Sudarshan, he stood tall with a gritty 61 of 151 balls, but the tail didn't offer much. In the second innings, both Sai Sudarshan and Jaiswal were gone for ducks within an over. And luckily, the rest of the batsmen showed some serious temperament and fought to save the match. How do you think India's batting is shaping up for the Oval?
My view, batting is probably less of a concern. In fact, surely less of a concern as we come towards the business end of this series. I read a stat: 4 out of the top 5 batters are Indians, and even if you look through session by session or day by day for the fourth test, I think Indian batting, except for those two collapses right up front in the first test, we have been okay. We've got more informed batsmen than probably England, and the pitches have also helped. So the attention for us should be to not play ultra safe. My biggest fear, which came out of this test, is India might treat this as more than a moral victory and think, our tactics are working. Let's do the same sort of cautious team selection for next test as well, which will be a big mistake. So, batting, I don't see as a concern. Maintain the same core, enough batsmen in form, enough tailenders, or we shouldn't be calling tailenders who hit hundreds, but our all rounders are in form. So we should just make sure that we leverage that to the maximum.
Yes, the first innings looked worrying actually. There is one thing to note: the Manchester sky was very cloudy, and 1.6 degrees of average swing was observed from the bowlers. And also, there wasn't much swing when India bowled. So the wicket was completely flat and offered nothing at all when England were batting. So Indian batting does worry me a little bit, even though the second innings gave us a lot of hope with three players getting to triple figures. So what I would say is Shubman Gill's wicket felt very avoidable. I think he shouldn't have gone too much into that ball, which is going so much outside the off stump, which almost mimicked Virat Kohli. And again, Jadeja needless on the first ball. I think he was very lucky that Roop dropped it. So and also coming to Sai Sudarshan, I think many people talk about him that his leg side is weak for him and he's not able to execute his flicks because it is not IPL. I think. See, in a 5-day test, you don't need such shots. And also, that said, credit is due to KL Rahul, especially Gill after that early collapse at the top of the order. So I think without that partnership, I think we would have been staring at innings defeat. And again, not to mention, I think, see, Jadeja and Washington Sundar, I think they held fort and took us to the finishing line. So this is not a win, but a win for the morale.
This is where things get really interesting. N. Jagadisan has earned a test call. No doubt he has worked really hard in the first class cricket. But this decision came while ignoring Ishan Kishan, Sarfaraz Khan, and Dhruv Jurel, who is already inside waiting in the bench. KL Rahul is also there, who can don the gloves. Was bringing Jagadisan into the squad really the best move?
Yeah, see, I think I'm a big fan of Jagdishan's batting, and he has been doing so well over the last few years in the domestic circuit. And yeah, I think, see, but if you ask me, I would say don't rush Jagdishan into the 11. So we are facing a very crucial test match at the Oval, and we don't want early flops from a new player like Jagdishan. So let's persist with what we have. Bring Jurel into the side as the wicketkeeper batter. He's been with the side for a very long time, and he's one of the guys who has a lot of control in his batting and can play some really good shots. So Jurel has to be there at that number 5 position, exactly where Rishabh Pant bats. So I think it'll be just a proper filling in. If you want to go into the specialist batter and not a wicketkeeper, I would say you go and give another chance, just one more chance to Karun Nair, and maybe Rahul can don the gloves. But other than that, I don't think there will be any big changes. I think Jagadisan will not be rushed into the 11.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think Jagadisan is being brought in to play in this test match. It is more to give him the experience for to be in and around the squad. I agree with Prashant. I'm a big fan of how he's come along. So, and this is a recognition that they are looking at him. No more than that. I don't see Jurel batting at 5, especially after Washington got 100 batting at 5. So I'll, they'll continue with that. And Jurel might come at 6 or even at 7 after Jadeja. Jadeja is at 6 now. So Jurel will come in, but he might not bat at 5, the same place as Pant.
Correct. So here's a stat that raises eyebrows. Shardul Thakur has bowled 27 overs in this entire series across the 2 matches he played, and he has been off color, leaking runs at more than 5 an over. That makes you wonder, are we picking him just because he can bat? Should India stop being cautious and pick 4 pure frontline bowlers instead?
Yeah, actually, see, the thought process of going behind Shardul Thakur is mainly for his batting. I think, see, our batting has been really weak when the tail comes into bat. I think we get pretty much exposed and 4 wickets fall in a jiffy. So maybe India are trying to shield the tail by using Shardul Thakur, but which I think it doesn't make sense. Because even Shardul Thakur, I don't think he can bat the way he batted in the past in England tours. So he's not the same Shardul. So what I would say is you add another frontline bowler to the lineup. So I think, see, there will be major changes in the bowling lineup as well, because I feel Kamboj is not going to stay in the lineup, and also Thakur should not be continuing in the team just because he's a batting cushion. He's not that batting cushion we need. So instead of him, we can go for a proper frontline bowler. What is stopping India from using Arshdeep Singh? I don't understand. He's been with the team for 4 matches now. At least he should play in the fifth. Just bring that variety, left arm variety into the team. And even Akash Deep has started bowling in the nets again. So should be a positive news for us. And he has been very good in the Edgbaston test. So yeah, I think India should play 4 fast bowlers in the oval and carry on with Jadeja and Washi as spinners. I think this should do well. I think his role is pretty much limited in any test match that he plays, and that too, the Gill Gambhir combo is not using him to the fullest potential that Shardul Thakur would have expected, and also fans would have expected. So I think he's just a mere addition to the team, just to add up to the numbers. So it should not be that. We should get in a proper bowling resource.
Absolutely agree. I think Shardul Thakur is, it looks like a Gambhir selection. I don't think Gill has the confidence in him. He doesn't bowl him at all. Like he's bowled what, 27 overs all up. If he's going to bowl 27 overs, what is the point of having him? He's not the same batting force as Prashant just said. So in my view, and I don't think I'm as conservative as Gautam Gambhir, but I see 2 broad changes: Shardul going out and Kamboj sitting out, unfortunately. And I see a straight swap with Akashdeep coming in place of Kamboj. And I have a feeling they'll finally play Kuldeep in place of Shardul. And if you look at Kuldeep as an attacking bowler, he stands heads and shoulder above any other bowler apart from Bumrah in the Indian team. And on top of that, he being a left-hander, he bats usually at about 9. For 9, he's a good enough batting resource. In this game, he might have to bat at 8, which is not really outrageous. So it's probably a decent selection, even if you look at the batting length.
Now to the big puzzle, India's bowling lineup. Gautam Gambhir says that all the bowlers are fit. Bumrah's availability is still a question mark. As you all told already, Anshul Kamboj looked flat. His pace dropped to an average of 128.9 when he usually clocks 135 plus with hard lines and lengths. That was not him. And even Bumrah didn't look his usual self in this test. Prasidh Krishna was already expensive, giving away runs like it was an ODI match. Siraj has been overworked. I mean, he has played 27 out of the last 30 tests, but somehow his workload never makes the headlines. So, with all this in mind, how do you think India's bowling attack will look like in the Oval?
What I would say is Bumrah, regarding the workload or whether he's going to play the next match, I think he should play the next match. What comes to my mind is, see, he had 2 days of rest already in this test match when Indians were batting. Right from day 4, he was idle. Day 5, he was idle. And again, these 3 days, barring travel, he is having enough rest in order to play the final test game in this series. So there should be no excuse for Bumrah to skip this game, citing this 3-day gap.
I absolutely agree with Prashant. There is no way Bumrah should be skipping this test match. I don't care what he said at the beginning. 3 tests, 4 tests, I don't care at all. He should be playing this test match because a lot is riding on this one. If he is not to play this test match, then all his load management, etc., is of no use really. That's number one. He should play. Number two, I think the other part which we have to understand is that even if England win the toss, like Indian captains have lost 14 toss, so let's assume it'll be 15. So in the next test match, I don't see Stokes bowling first because he's got such workload on his bowlers. So you have to consider the fact that we'll be bowling first. And if we bowl first, we need wicket taking bowlers on day one. And that has to be Bumrah. Plus, I think it is high time we play Kuldeep because he is the only wicket taking spinner who is guaranteed, or guarantee is a strong word, but as close as guaranteed to give us those wickets even when the track is not turning that much. And this is a test match where we can't afford to be defensive. We've got to take 20 wickets. So considering all that, Bumrah's got to play. Akashdeep, even if he's 90% fit, has to play. Siraj, I absolutely agree with you, he's been overworked, but it hurts me to say he has to play. And Kuldeep has to play. And then we've got those two bowling all-rounders, Jadeja and Washington Sundar. This gives us 6, and it covers for a shortfall or 2 in case a bowler is injured or something else happens. Still, we'll have 5 attacking or decent attacking options. Bowling will win us matches, and especially the one at Oval. We need to stack our bowling to cover for every eventuality. Bowling first, batting first, bowling on second day, third day, fourth day. We have to take wickets.
We also had some drama at the end. Ben Stokes offered a handshake to call it a draw, but Jadeja and Washington turned it down. They wanted their centuries. And then came the talk about Bryden Cars, who was caught rubbing the ball on his shoes while picking it up. How do you see these controversies? Were they just overblown, or do you say that there's something deeper about the spirit of the game?
Yeah, see, talking about
So,
spirit of cricket, England adjusts it as per their own need. If it satisfies them, it is spirit of cricket. If it doesn't satisfy them, they will bring out all these arguments and they will start whining about it. So, Bryden Cars rubbing the ball on his shoes, I think it was a really stupid act again. So, which cricketer on earth would rub ball on his shoes, because the shoe might contain spikes, so it might damage the ball. So, I think he should not be doing it. And regarding Stokes' handshake, see, if I was Gill, I would have told Jadeja and Washington to bat the whole day, finish the whole
exactly.
day, let's bat the rest of the 10 overs, make England cry and do whatever you want. Don't allow them to take rest. That's it. Even you bowl Harry Brook, you bowl Joe Root, you bowl anyone in the team who doesn't even know to bowl a ball. So it's not our problem. Let us tire them. That's it.
Absolutely right. Absolutely. You can't have the moral high ground. People were talking about them showing that sportsman spirit in Lords when they're coming to shake hands. All that is BS. They know the cameras were on them and they want to suck up to Indian players because eventually IPL money beckons. And suddenly, when it starts to hurt, sportsman spirit sort of comes into play. I would have really loved to see if Liam Dawson was an 85 not out, would Ben Stokes call them back? And I absolutely agree with Prashant. After the drama which Stokes did, India should have batted on for those 10 overs and try to waste time during that 10 overs. Ask for drinks, ask for physios, and make them wait till those 15 overs were bowled. This is absolutely unacceptable from the so called guardians of the spirit of cricket. They should hang their head in shame.
And with this, we can say that India missed the victory by tiny margins in Lords. And then this time we barely survived a series loss. And now all our eyes are on London. Can the boys in blue level the series? We'll find out the answers for this in the 5 intense days starting from Thursday. And this is Beyond Boundaries, and you're listening to Cricket. We'll see you after the series. And until then, goodbye. Thank you.
जाओ जी हमारे गीत कराओ जी रातों तक सावे हो हमारे सकल दिखाओ जी हरी रब सब जानू मैं चौधरी ऐसे वन बंगाली मैं कर दे पर ईगल में जागी धोकड़ी संगम थाली चांदनी दामन में बाँ